Welcome to the Whole Life Podcast. Thanks for tuning in. I'm excited to share today's episode with Bryan Halferty, who a few years ago helped plant a church here in Tacoma with the support of the community, the brazen audacity to think it's possible, and recently released his first book, A Terrible Beauty, that's so far been an amazing read. So we get to hear about the behind the scenes of planting a church, behind the scenes of writing the book, a little bit more about the man, the legend, my friend, Bryan Halferty. Don't forget about the Angela Lansbury workout video.
Who knew? Who knew she broke into that industry?
I think like in her day, she was it.
Buns of steel.
She's buns of steel. And I mean, she had to solve crimes like
that's exhausting.
Yeah.
You have to be fit.
Yeah.
Mentally and
physically. Yeah. And I mean, she's like a jet setter too. She's like going all around the country, all around the world.
Yeah.
Have you watched Murder, She Wrote that much?
I mean, I have seen it. I don't know if I could say I've exhausted the canon.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you, on the Roku TV, there's actually like a Murder, She Wrote channel that plays Murder, She Wrote, Jessica Fletcher 24/7. And you know, some people kind of have their like go-to TV show to relax. Yeah. Well, my mom and my sister will like pull Murder, She Wrote into the rotation. And the thing about the show is there's a murder everywhere she goes. Yeah. Like she's the common denominator.
At one point, she's going to be the murderer.
She's got to be the murderer. Like, I mean, how many vacations have you been on where there was a murder in the hotel that you're at?
It's three.
Three. That's low. That's low.
I mean, compared to Angela Lansbury.
I know. Oh, man. She's in the hundreds, I'm sure. But, Bryan.
This is great content.
Yeah.
Is the podcast, is it started?
Oh, we're going.
Oh, fantastic. You didn't even tell me. I love it.
That's kind of what I want it to be like. Is like you just kind of get into it.
Well, I feel like it feels very you. And now I'm self-conscious that we're going.
Yeah, I know. It's like as soon as you say like, okay, we're rolling, then it's like, oh shit, okay, like let me get in the mindset here.
Yeah, that's great.
Would you pull the mic just a little bit closer?
Yeah. You want more of my voice?
More of your voice. Yeah.
A lot of people do. They want more of my voice.
That's right. Yeah. I assume that's why you got into the business.
Yeah, the biz.
The biz.
The pastoral biz.
Is that what they call it?
The industry.
Yeah. I've heard such things.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome. Thank you so much for coming on. It's really an honor to be able to like sit down and hang out.
Dude.
Oh,
come on. Yeah. Honor's all mine.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. Cool. And I don't know what we're going to talk about today.
We're going to find out. And I tell you, we are between one plant.
Monster. Yeah, I know. I feel like I should get a fern, like in honor.
Yeah, because people will be watching on the video, but also audio. Yep. So what the people listening on the audio need to know is that I'm kind of camouflaged. Like I'm kind of like hidden.
Yeah. It's like
and I don't even know if you can see it like in the screen, but like it's kind of between me, so like I might hide.
Yeah, there's like a couple leaves like right in the way if you get a little bashful and you need to hide. I mean, you can't hide from them.
No, but I might hide from you. It might happen.
Tough questions and you sink down.
Yeah. Dude. That'll be my tell.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, if you start slouching a little bit.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
And if I walk out, that means I'm totally offended.
Yeah. I really want people to know how you got here.
Yeah. It's by truck.
By truck? You got a truck? Yeah. So Bryan got here via truck. But when he knocked at the door, my roommate was also getting some Uber Eats at the same time.
Yeah.
So
I picked it up.
Bryan picked it up and delivered it.
Yeah. What's your roommate's name?
Destiny.
Yeah. Destiny met the Uber Eats Destiny.
Yeah. She definitely just thought, because normally they just like knock and leave.
Yeah, it's an audacious Uber Eats driver to knock on the door and be like, here you go.
We are going to greet each other. Yeah. And like you were going to get this customer service.
Also, I love that if I was an Uber Eats driver, it's like, how relaxed with time am I? I'm just like, you know what? This one deserves a full like relational experience.
Yeah.
I'm not just dropping and going off to the next one.
No.
I'm committed to the relational.
Their food can wait.
Yeah.
It's like you're like the waiter at a restaurant that'll sit down with you at the table. And
whether you want to or not. I'm sitting with you.
I'm sitting with you. I know you're having an intimate meal together, but
I'm also having an intimate meal with you.
We're here together. We're here together. Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. It was a Baja Blast. I think there's a Baja Blast in that Uber Eats.
Oh.
So I just love that I was helping to pass on a Baja Blast to somebody.
I love that. I haven't had Baja Blast in I don't know how
You could
long.
go to Destiny right now, and you could go to get a little sip.
Yeah. Maybe she'll hear us and she'll come out.
That's why I'm talking loud.
Yeah. We're actually, it's wishful.
I don't believe in manifesting it, but I am kind of trying to manifest it.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Now. You're like, come on, Baja Blast. Let's go.
Daddy needs a new Baja Blast.
Yes, let's go. I like this. Yeah, so Uber Eats, one of your many talents. Let's see. I want to kind of get to some of the questions. So you founded a church, or what's it called? Planted a church?
Planted a church, yeah. It's kind of the language around it, yeah. And it's funny, there is a Uber Eats connection.
Oh.
Between us moving to Tacoma to plant Anchor, and so there's a conversational bridge here.
I'm thinking like you can order Anchor Church on Uber Eats and get a little bit of dose. You're like, I can't quite make it to church this
live
weekend.
Streaming. It's available to you.
Yeah. We'll bring it right to your door.
I love it. No, that's taking an angle I was not imagining, but I do love that. And I do, if I just want you to know, if I ever Uber Eats Anchor Church to somebody.
If you guys are ever struggling and like need some new attention, get on there.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Would that be communion? Would you Uber Eats communion to someone? Or would you?
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Or would it be the relational and kind of spiritual experience?
I think it's a little bit of both. Like you get, when they arrive, you get like one passage read to you.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And you get the bread and the wine. Yeah. And then it's like
and you hope
the whole
they tip.
thing.
Instead of a tip, it's a tithe.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Tithing. Yeah. Then you feel, a little bit better about it. And it's for the, the busy person that can't make it to church on the weekends, I'm
seeing the advertisement, like, feeling busy? Need a quick hit of church? On the run?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
It feels so American.
Yeah, it does.
But
a drive-through. Have you seen the drive-through chapels? Have you ever seen those?
No.
It's like you're out in the country, and there'll be, or like, it'll look like a bus stop almost, but they've turned like a shed into this like mini drive-through chapel thing. Yeah.
And it's like, when you say out in the country, do you mean somewhere in the Midwest?
Puyallup. No. Yeah, Ording. Yeah. No.
Sorry, Puyallup.
Yeah, sorry.
You're loved. You're loved.
Yeah.
We love you.
And for anyone that doesn't know where Puyallup is, it's literally just like a suburb that's like a little ways out. But it feels like the country.
It does. And it is. We are in a country.
Oh, yeah, we are. Yeah. For better or worse, we're in the country. I like it, honestly.
The country?
Yeah, the country.
The country that we live in?
Yeah. It's pretty good. The people are good.
Yeah.
Like to each their own. People get worked up about different things, but for the most part, it's pretty good.
Yeah, I think we are. When you compare it to most other of the countries around the world, this is a good one to be in.
Yeah, I gotta wonder, which country is there someone that's like, man, this country sucks? I guess there's it's always like some of the population feels like that, and they want to run to Canada, and then some of them are like, America's the best, or Lithuania or something.
Yeah.
I got to work on my countries.
Yeah, no, it's good recall on Lithuania there.
I know. I was like obscure, like people that are living there, in their own country. I think.
No, they are.
They are. I don't know. I'll wait till I can see it in person.
All right, you're gonna wait.
I gotta believe it.
You have to. All right.
See it to believe it.
Yeah. No. All right. No faith for Tommy. But the Uber Eats, the real Uber Eats connection is when you're planting a church, like,
oh yeah,
there's like, it's funny because like in Tacoma, I mean, I think the average percentage, like the percentage of people that go to church on Sundays, it's not high when you compare it to like most places around the country or whatever.
Yeah. For Tacoma specifically?
Tacoma, Seattle, Tacoma. It's one of the lower, it's the areas where people, like the smallest amount of people attend church.
Yeah.
In the nation.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of fascinating.
Yeah.
So when you go into, like, which is funny because it's not like a good business decision. I'm going to go into a market that people don't want. Don't want what you're offering.
I choose hard.
Yeah, exactly. So when we came here, it's funny because like people would be like, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" Like, "Well, I'm planting a church." I'm like, "What the heck is that?" Mm-hmm. Like it's kind of like you're pastor of a church that doesn't exist yet. So like we needed to supplement our income.
Yeah.
And so I tried to get on Uber Eats, except my car was too old.
Oh, yeah.
I had a Vanagon. Did you know that? I drove Vanagons.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I had a Syncro, which is like an all-wheel drive Vanagon.
Wow.
Yeah.
Little did they know those are awesome.
I know. I'm like, you want me on your team, Uber Eats.
You want to get food delivered in
You're bad.
Yeah. I mean, it might make it there.
Probably won't.
But
also, you want that Instagram picture.
You want it. You're like, check it out. Check out Uber Eats now.
Yeah.
They're going to, not the reliability route, but like the trendy, like
the vibey
hit route, the vibey route.
They missed out.
Like deliver it to the beach or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have done it for them.
Yeah. So you're doing Uber Eats, or you wanted to?
I wanted to. I didn't get in. I didn't get the. I said nope.
Yeah, I had the same problem. At one point, I was like, maybe I'll do Uber Eats, and it was the same problem. It's like your car can only be like 10 years old or something.
I mean, there are cars that are older than 10 years old that are reliable.
Oh, absolutely.
Come on.
Yeah, come on. Yeah, come on, Uber Eats.
Yeah, we're looking at you.
We're looking at you. Yeah. Yeah, I just wasn't willing to like get a new car to then pay for it with Uber Eats. Because you're just, I feel like it's a wash at that point.
That's something Dad doesn't want you to do.
Yeah.
Dad said, don't do that one.
Don't do that. Now, I kind of want to go like a little bit farther back.
I love it.
When you were going, I imagine, like you don't get to talk about like where you came from too much, like as a kid maybe. Yeah. But like, when you were growing up, did you think that you were going to be an Uber Eats driver? Or like...
Uber Eats was a twinkle in the internet's eye when I was growing up.
Yeah,
The internet wasn't around.
Yeah,
but,
So that was same for me as like when I was a real little kid, we got a computer that had like floppy disks.
Yes,
and like no one knew how to use it.
Was it a Macintosh? Was it Apple?
I think it must have been. I don't even remember. Yeah. But no one knew how to use it, and we're just like, and the floppy disks that we had
they were really
like
floppy.
They were real like literal floppy, these black floppy things, and then I think we had like a couple games. I don't know what anyone did on the computer because I don't think we had the internet yet.
No, we didn't.
So it was just like.
How old are you?
37.
Okay, I'm 43.
Okay.
So I'm older than you.
Yeah.
That's math.
Yeah. You could be my older brother.
Yeah.
Or like cousin. Yeah. Or like.
Neighborhood kid?
One of those, like the uncle that's like the same age kind of deal.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, young unk.
Yeah, young unk. Yeah, the funkle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
So, but you, okay, growing up, there's a grown-up question.
Yeah, there was a question. What did you want to be when you grew up? Did you have an idea?
Well, like, it depends on how old, like my son, who's 12, we were talking about jobs yesterday, and he goes, Dad, I got a list of jobs. I got a list of jobs that I'm going to do.
Oh,
and
at 12?
Yeah. And it's funny because one of them we share. Like, he and I shared at the same age, we both thought that maybe a rapper.
Maybe was a good option.
Maybe a rapper was going to be maybe in my destiny. So he's also thinking that.
You know what's crazy is I also thought I was going to be a rapper.
Yes,
maybe at some point.
Come on, I mean, just keeping that as a possibility.
Yeah, I was like, I like listening to this, like the vibes there, and then like when I'm by myself, I can
maybe try a little bit.
I'm like, try a little bit. Yeah, I'm like. Maybe I'm going for it.
I could do it.
I could do this.
I was going to be a rapper, and then my backup job was going to be a lawyer. So.
Oh, okay.
Fallback job was going to be. So I'll maybe do all that time, all the law school if I don't make it in the rap world.
If I don't make it in the rap world, because that's a gamble.
Totally.
Totally.
And like, if I make it in the rap world and get embroiled in legal scandals.
Oh.
Then I'm going to
dig yourself right the hell out of it.
Who needs Johnny Cochran?
Yeah, who needs him? Yeah, I'm on my own legal counsel.
Yeah,
Let's go.
yeah.
Wow. And like navigating that environment too, like, you know, you're just getting in with all the riffraff and stuff, but you know, all the legal loopholes and stuff.
I'm going to be like the favorite lawyer.
And like, look, you've got all your clients are all your friends.
Boom.
You know, I mean,
Boom.
they might not pay. Yeah, they might not pay unless someone's rap career takes off. All you need is one. Honestly, you know, keep you on retainer or something.
Dude.
Feature a song.
I don't know, this pastor gig. Maybe I shift it.
Yeah, maybe or you could blend it. You know, like
little blend job.
Yeah, a little blend job. Now we're like, so we got Uber Eats going,
man.
Uber Communion.
We're keeping the people that are really after the answers.
Oh,
they're waiting.
They're waiting.
They're like, they're gonna get to it.
Yeah,
at some point.
Which honestly, yeah, you'll have to kind of keep little like breadcrumbs as reminders, allude to that you're going to give some of the answers.
Yeah.
But then just keep rapping.
Don't tell them too much.
No.
Don't tell them.
We can't give away the scheme. Yeah.
So I never wanted to be a pastor though, because I came to faith when I was a senior in high school, like towards the end of high school, and
coming to faith is just like you.
Yeah, sorry, that's helpful.
Like found.
Yeah,
God,
I did a really good job of using a lot of drugs and going kind of crazy pretty early on.
Yeah.
And like for, like it was like 13, 14, 15 was kind of.
Get it out of the way.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, you know, and so I got in a lot of trouble, and so I just kind of like found myself in these crisis spaces, you know, where
totally.
And it's not like you need to be in a crisis space to have some type of kind of surrender moment or kind of come to Jesus moment, so to speak. But like that was kind of like, it was almost like I had emerged out of those, but I had kind of like tried a lot of things that didn't seem like it was like answering kind of that soul need, you could say.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, I found that this sounds like kind of maybe cheesy religious, but I honestly found that in Jesus. Mm-hmm. And there's a quote from a famous mathematician named Pascal that says, you know, that in every human there's a God-shaped hole, you know, and I found that to be true, like personally true about myself. So I went into college, and I didn't want to be a pastor, but I want to be a writer. Like, in fact, you know, we can talk about some of that journey a little bit later.
Yeah.
But that's what I wanted. I came alive. I love writing. I love the creative kind of act and discipline, and that's what I wanted to do. But I kept on finding myself in places where people would affirm something that was kind of like pastor adjacent, and I did a good job of fighting it. But over a long process, that, you know, you can ask more questions if you want to tease it out. But I relented. Yeah.
Like, okay, fine,
yes,
I'll do it.
Yes,
yeah. So, well, I feel like you know, I too kind of had a, you know, rough childhood, got into some trouble, but like if you're gonna have a rap career, you got it. You got to do it. I feel like that age 12, 13, 14, 15,
you're paving the way.
You're paving the way. You got to try it.
Yeah.
And like I think that's part of it. Like some rappers never get out of that.
Yeah.
But you did.
I do. I didn't get into rapping, but I did get out of it.
Get out of it. Yeah. And it like led you on the journey to like your life path and finding faith, which is really cool.
Yeah.
I feel like just to kind of relate, I feel like I also kind of struggle with that growing up. Is like none of my family went to church.
Yeah.
I think I went to church with my grandma once, and then I had like, it wasn't a good pitch as a kid because I had the friends' parents that would force them to go to church. Yeah. So if you spent the night at their house,
the sleepover Christian.
Yeah, the sleepover Christian. Yeah, so I was a sleepover Christian growing up.
Yeah.
But not having that community though, or like somewhere to look for answers. I feel like I was just like wandering around, floating, trying to, and that's kind of like part of this whole thing that I'm trying to create is like a place to explore these ideas and find questions and find answers to those missing pieces about like really just what it means to be a human.
Oh, I love it.
In the like human experience that we're having. So it's really cool to hear like finding that for yourself. And also, we'll talk about it more, but you wrote a book.
Yeah.
So you did get into the writing.
Yeah.
And I've read a little bit, and it like really speaks to that, like having the passion as a writer.
Yeah.
And it's beautifully written too. So it's really cool to see like that also coming to fruition in the process.
Thanks, Tommy. That means a lot.
Yeah. And as you're like, I kind of want to know like a little bit more about that process of like surrendering to deciding to plant a church.
Yeah.
Like, just I feel like like it's such an interesting mindset to go through. Where you
like
said,
why would you ever want to do that?
Yeah, and say what you said a second ago about you had to be a pastor for a church that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
For it to start, which I feel like so many endeavors are we kind of do it backwards sometime, where we start doing it, and then we have the imposter syndrome, where it's like coming with the mindset like I've got to be a leader, I've got to be a shepherd, or be the pastor before it happens. And like, just curious to hear more about like where you were at the time, like emotionally, spiritually, family, like what were you doing, and then what like kind of led to the journey.
Yeah, well, it's such a good question. I mean, I think like it's such a, on a surface, it's like such a dumb thing to do. Like why would you, like if you are in a place of comfort, if you have a job, why would you leave that to do something in a new place where people don't know you and there's no certainty? Yeah. What a dumb thing. Yeah. Like there's like I mentioned that dad says no to that one. Dad says no to that. He's like, no, don't do that. Don't do that one, son. Don't do that one, son.
Why? Yeah, why? Like if you had a 401k or a retirement plan or like full-time steady job, you're like, you know what? I'm just going to go on my own and risk it. Like maybe it doesn't pan out. Yeah. Like,
and especially because like, with most entrepreneurial work, like there's at least kind of the potential of lots of money.
Totally.
And with it's like, it's like, there's like, if you are a pastor and you're making a ton of money, then you're like, something's wrong there.
Something's wrong. I feel like you can like see the pastors that are like doing that with the like.
Yeah. Righteous Gemstone.
Oh yeah. I haven't watched that yet, but I'm really looking forward to it.
I had to stop. I was too cynical for me.
Oh, okay.
It was too cynical.
That's so close.
Dude.
That'd be,
It was too, it was funny because it was super funny because like somebody in the production crew knows it from the inside.
Oh yeah.
But like, it was too cynical, and it represents a style, like a church kind of approach that is pretty foreign to me, but you can tell they, somebody was on the inside.
I imagine it's hard to watch, like, because if in the industry or any industry that you're in, you kind of know the good, and the not so good, and so then when the
sauce, how the sausage is made,
the sausage is made, and then if you're watching the sausage get made without integrity, it probably like hits in a certain way where it's like,
especially when what you're offering is integrity. Like that's literally what you have. You're like, let me show you hope. Yeah. Let me point you to. Yeah. And if like somebody's like, we'll wear the clothes of hope, but we're not. Yeah.
And not like live the life and like. Yeah.
It is heartbreaking, but it is also kind of funny. But so why would anyone make a dumb decision like that? And I think that for me, any place you are at, like, and at some point, if you continue to grow and develop as a human, you hit the ceiling, right? Yeah. And you're like, you have to get to the point where like, do I like this ceiling? Yeah. Or is this a good ceiling? And can I flirt?
Popcorn.
I know. You have a ceiling right there.
Yeah, I do. It's all right.
You could blow it out.
Touch-ups, lift it up a little higher.
Put a skylight in there?
Oh, yeah. I put one in the guest house. I'll show you that later. Yeah.
I look forward to seeing it.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah.
Ceilings.
Yeah. You just got to make, like, do you want to stay here or not? And I think, like, I was in that one of those points. Yeah. Where I was kind of feeling, all right, I can see, here's the limits of what. Mm-hmm. And a guy had been a mentor had been inviting me to kind of like consider planting a church. Mm-hmm. And it sounded like a terrible and scary thing to do. So I said no. And, but there's this, like, the more, how, like an idea plays in your mind.
Yeah. And
you're just like, you start kind of like, it starts rolling downhill and you're just like, oh, but.
You start putting the pieces together.
You fall in love with it.
Yeah. You're like, I feel like those are like the little seeds. And like once the roots take hold, it's like you can't not, then your current ceiling just, like you're being crushed.
Yeah.
Like this happened to me too. I used to be a city planner.
Oh, you did?
For the city of Tacoma.
Oh.
And like there's
it's a good job, by the way.
It is a great job.
No, you've done a great job.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. It was all me.
It's well
planned. It's all me. Yeah. It's like anytime something like that comes up, I'm like, it's like then the planner side starts coming out. I want to start saying things. But I started.
It's nice that I threw you off.
You did, yeah. I was like, yoga. For me, COVID happened.
Yeah.
Just me though, no one else. And
that was the craziest thing. You're kind of a tyrant. You imposed so much for it to just be affecting you
on everybody else. You're
a jerk, dude.
Dude, nobody. If I can't go to the store,
how dare you?
If I can't go to the store, no one can go to the store.
I abided by all those guidelines, and to know it was just you the whole time.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I know. And really the masks were so you couldn't tell if it was me or not. Like it just everyone looked kind of the same. But so I got laid off, and I did a yoga teacher training when I got laid off. I got laid off for 3 months, and after I did the yoga training, like the spiritual side of yoga has all these like the Yoga Sutras and these like life philosophies, and it's the way the training kind of framed it was like this, seeing yoga as like the science of human experience. Yeah. Which I really related with. And so after that, I was like, this is what I want to do, is like share, like help people that don't have somewhere to look, like find the answers. And like, I don't necessarily think that I have the answers, but like through asking questions and being open-minded, you can start to come to some of these answers and being open to like the, these different explanations that we don't always think about. But kind of once that seed started to get planted, like the next year and a half of working for the city started to become so miserable because it was like I needed
the roots
to
were
do
loosening.
That. Yeah. And so, but it was scary too. Yeah. Like that part of like letting go of stability. Like I felt like I got addicted to it in a way where it's like I didn't want to take risks. That's a great way to say it,
addicted to stability.
Yeah. And then another way that I felt too in that type of process was when I got comfortable with the ceiling, I looked at how much more life I had to live. Yeah. And I was like, what is life about for me? Yeah. Like, is it just hanging out on this ceiling, getting into my groove, living out the next 70 years? And I just realized like, no, like life for me is like creation and exploration. And so it was like I had to go through all these like kind of like I would go through these like mental practices of like what's the worst that could happen if I let go of this? Like what does failing actually look like? And that like helped me get through it. And I wonder like, when the seed for you was planted, like
how did that happen?
Yeah.
So the idea does, like, I use the language of it starts going downhill. It catches its own momentum, starts building inside of you. And you do start to look at where you're at through the lens of it's not where we could be, I think one of the things that early on was unshakable for me. Like early on when we were Candace and I, my wife, we were discerning like, gosh, God, could you be calling us to this new thing? Like I was out working in the backyard, and I talk about this in I think it's the 3rd chapter of the book. And I was doing, oftentimes it's like you're doing something simple, like you're shoveling or whatever, and your brain is somewhere else, and whether you're praying or you're thinking, and I just felt like God was. I was like working on a sprinkler in my backyard, and I felt like God was speaking to me, like and that could land like whatever to whoever's listening, but but I felt like called, like, Bryan, I'm calling you to start to craft a beautiful community, and like I say kind of God speaking with kind of some, like, that doesn't happen all the time. I'm not like in this ongoing whatever, But like I just felt like these words, and they're words that I've held as really important words. And for me, a beautiful community, I felt like I knew what that meant to me, because I had been on a healing journey of just working through insecurities and anxieties, and I had seen how, like, in the space that I was in, as like my own healing journey was able to flow out to others and bless other people. And I just imagined what that could look like, where that's not just kind of you doing it from the position you're in with the ceiling that you have, but you're starting something from the beginning. It's like, that's the reason it exists. And it is not just Bryan doing it, but it's the culture and the fabric of the whole community. And like, I started to fall in love with that. And you have this beautiful picture of what that could look like. And then you step into the place and you're just like, nobody knows me. Nobody thinks I'm cool. Nobody even knows that I am cool. And I don't know where any street is or where the grocery stores are. And wow, that idea was really cool. Now I feel like I don't know about it, if it's going to happen.
Yeah. Where did you live before this?
I was in Ellensburg, Washington.
Ellensburg.
Yeah, small college town.
Yeah, you're like, Tacoma, here I come.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah. What was the church? Was it a church before Anchor?
Yeah, it was a church building that had closed in 2017. So a couple months, 3 or so months before we moved in, it had closed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We probably moved here around the same time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was like, well, Bryan's going to Tacoma. Right?
Yes, yeah.
Like, we're moving in too.
Yeah, well, I mean, I understand.
Yeah, I get it. That's a curious question. Did anyone come to Tacoma with you? Really?
Some people did. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Yes, because I was working with college students, and some were graduating, and some were, like, had been sticking around, but they didn't really have a job. They're trying to figure out. So like, it became a good excuse for some people to be like, well, Tacoma has jobs. Yeah. And Bryan's not half bad. Yeah. Let's try this thing.
See how this goes.
Yeah.
And it was Anchor connected to another church, like like sometimes it's like a spur off of another one. It seems like. Yeah.
Nah. I had worked at a church in Ellensburg, and they were celebrating this kind of like journey that I was on. Cool. But it wasn't like it didn't have any, like, we're part of the same family of churches, but it wasn't like a spin-off or something. Yeah. Okay. Like that. Yeah.
Were you doing some pastoring? What do you call it?
Pastor? That's right.
You were doing some pastoring.
I was getting my pastor on.
Get your pastor on. Were you doing that at the church in Ellensburg?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're getting warmed up.
I was getting warmed up. Yeah, it was. They would hate for me to use this language. It was, minor leagues.
Minor leagues. Yeah.
No, like it wasn't minor leagues.
Yeah. Spring training before the big season. Yeah. Thank you again for tuning in today. I really appreciate your support and listening to this. And today's podcast is supported by the sales of this Bryan's book. Not all the sales, but if you use the link that's in the description, you can get a copy of Terrible Beauty, or if you order some stuff on Amazon, we will also get a percentage of those sales. So thank you so much. Do your shopping, do your Christmas shopping, buy some gifts for someone else, whatever you want to do. But thank you so much. And thank you, Amazon, for having this set up for us to help us through this. And I wanted to communicate to you in the best way possible that's this, and I don't know why I'm saying that, but we now have Patreon. We switched over. It's a little bit more streamlined, a little bit smoother, a little bit more well-known. So you can contribute with a monthly membership, and there'll be special perks. You'll get a little bit more direct access to me, and then also special releases, special discounts for future products and retreats, and more behind the scenes things. If you like what's going on here, please consider supporting. Everything counts. So thank you so much. So grateful for everyone and anyone that contributes to this and enjoys hearing the episodes. Let's get back to it. And you had your family at the time.
I did, and I still do.
And you still do. They came too.
Praise God.
They were like, all right, fine. Tacoma.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's kind of connect it to, because I'd like to hear about what the process was like. But I also want to know, like, how you have a wife and...
I do.
Like,
two kids, yeah.
2 kids?
Yeah.
And...
one's going to be a rapper.
One's going to be a rapper. Yeah. Does he have a rap? Is it he?
Yeah,
is it boy,
Soren.
girl?
Yeah, Soren.
Yeah. Rap name?
We're working on that one, but he did show me some of his lines that he's been working on.
Oh, dang!
Last night.
Wow, I feel
and it was actually, I felt, total honest, like not joking around. I felt very honored
that he would share.
Because he told me, and because he was talking about it with Candace, my wife, and I, and he said he invited me up to come look at him.
Wow.
So I felt very honored.
That is a big honor.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could have done that. That's like a big step to show somebody else.
He talked about it like we're working on it together.
Oh, yeah.
So it's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah.
So now you're going to bring that probably back around too. Is like you're going to have it all. But like pastor,
I just got to add lawyer
author.
on.
Yeah, lawyer.
Yeah.
You just got to start doing night classes or something.
Come on.
Yeah, there we go. How did you and Candace meet?
Oh my gosh, what a story! Mm-hmm. So she grew up. She's what we call a townie. So she grew up in Ellensburg.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh. So how we met is less of a thing than like the circumstances around us moving towards dating and marriage. So she was doing a school in South Africa. So like. We were like,
what does that mean? She was doing a school.
Yeah, so she was studying. She was doing like a Bible school.
Oh, going to one?
Yeah, going to one in South Africa.
Okay, cool.
So like the thing is like we knew each other up to this point for like 4 years, but like, and we hung out with each other like we were dating, but we weren't dating. Oh, because I was too insecure to like. Oh yeah. And she was probably too kind of like not ready.
Teenagers.
So I was like, it was 19 to probably 21.
Oh yeah.
So it was maybe like, I blew it up. Maybe it felt like 4 years, but it was like 2 or 3 years or something like that. So, and so we were like going on walks and coffee, and everybody was like, "Are you guys dating?" And we were like, "Nah." I mean, do you want to, Candace? Do you want to start? We could.
Are we? Yeah, like maybe. Yeah.
So she goes to South Africa for the school, and I'm like seeing like, well, there goes my chances of ever dating this girl.
All right, see you later, Candace.
But my homie Mario and I, we would go on this trip every summer, and he was in Spain on like study abroad or whatever, and so we were going to do our biggest trip ever. And my mom gave me some money. I was getting close to graduation, so I had some graduation money, but he bailed on me. So I had this time set aside. Mario. Yeah. Classic Mario, dude.
Classic Mario.
It is a total classic Mario. And like total. So, but now I had this like, missing piece. We had started dating while she was in South Africa.
Oh yeah. Yeah. You're like,
that's how you started dating.
That's how you start. You're like, you know what? You're way over there. Like, let's give this thing a go now.
Before we started dating, while she was already in South Africa, we had brought up marriage, and because we'd known each other for so long. Yeah. And we told each other we loved each other.
Oh wow!
So marriage we brought up once, and then the calling card ran out. Yeah. I brought it up, and she didn't respond, and it was silence. Dude,
the literal calling card.
The literal calling card. If you have not used a calling card, you have to dial. You have to scratch. You buy them for like $50 or whatever at Costco. You scratch it off. They're not around anymore, obvi. But and there's like a little thing you put in so you can make international calls. Yeah,
like it wasn't like now where you can just like FaceTime each other and there's the internet, you can talk forever. And also like maybe you're on a telephone and long distance charges are ridiculously expensive. Like each country you go away it gets more expensive. So you have a calling card that's like preloaded, and so That's what he's talking about. It's like it could turn off.
Yeah.
Which it did.
Yeah, it was like, well, you have 1 minute remaining. And so I was like, I waited till I had 1 minute remaining to bring it up because I was like putting it off.
Yeah. You're like,
and now because she's like caught off guard, she doesn't respond. And I'm waiting. Well, that's it. The gig's up, So that was like a little bit of like our rapport, like our relationship. And of course, I felt that, I had this money set aside. I'm like, well, I'm gonna go to South Africa. I'm gonna visit my girlfriend, Candace, and but I want to play it cool because I always used to be like insecure and then like grabby, clingy, And so I was like, hey, I know somebody in Johannesburg. She was in Cape Town. I know somebody in Johannesburg, and like I didn't really, but
oh, totally, yeah.
But maybe I'll go to Joburg and like I'll kind of catch the train down and
totally.
And she was like, well, why don't you just there's a lodge right next to the the school. Why don't you just stay there? I'm like, fine, that works too.
That's fine. Yeah, sure. I guess maybe. Yeah.
So, dude, now we're dating. I got a trip dialed up, and I got we've talked about marriage. She called me back and she goes, yeah, I could see that.
That was it, and her card ran.
Yeah. No. But that was pretty much the conversation.
Wow.
But I'm like, oh, you can see that.
Okay.
Yeah. See that too? We're seeing that,
Yeah.
And then Love's brought up. So I'm like, there's nothing keeping me from proposing.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, it's she gave you a soft yes. So.
Yeah, and so let's turn that into a full-fledged one.
Yeah, full-fledged.
So I got a ring.
Yeah.
I flew down there. I had a month-long trip there, bro.
Whoa.
And I was a little compulsive, so I quit my job. Mm-hmm. I sold my car.
Whew.
I convinced my professors to let me out 2 weeks early from classes and grade me on what I had done at that point.
Oh, wow.
They did. And because I thought maybe
Did you tell them the plan?
Yeah.
You're like,
they were like, we're with you, Brian.
They're like,
we're with you.
They're living vicariously through you too. Like,
tell us.
They're like, tell us. And then also come back and let us know what happened.
Right.
Yeah.
So my mom convinced me to actually get a return ticket because I thought maybe I'll live there in South Africa. I heard it's great.
Moms are good like that. Classic moms, just no faith.
Doesn't get it.
Yeah, you don't get it. This is the end game, mom.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I fly there and I have the ring in my pocket because why would you trust it in some bag that you can't see?
Oh yeah.
And we first see each other. We're now dating. We're in the same continent now. Mm-hmm. And her friends drop us off on this beach in Cape Town. Mm-hmm. We're holding hands for the first time, right?
Oh man!
All the biochemicals.
Talk about nerve-wracking.
Yeah, endorphin, whatever, all the things.
Yeah.
Oxytocin, whatever.
Oh yeah, just through the roof.
Yeah. And we're walking on this beach in Cape Town.
Yeah.
Holding our sandals in one hand, holding each other's hands in the other.
You got the ring in your pocket.
Ring in my pocket.
It's burning a hole in there.
My hole is my
legs on fire.
The surf is going over our toes.
Oh my God!
The sun is setting.
Oh,
and it's like, if not now, when?
Yeah, you're like,
thank you, Lord.
Yeah,
serving this one up. I'll be,
Yeah, for real.
So we sit down, and she reminds me I didn't kneel. We sit down, and I turn around, I open the jewelry case, and I say, Candace, will you marry me? And she takes like a few seconds, and I know it's not the calling card here.
Yeah. You're like, what's this pause all about?
And she goes, yes. It's like the type of yes, like when your boss says, hey, could you work late tonight? And you have plans.
You're like, oh, yeah.
So I'm like, I don't know what to do. This is foreign territory. Literally, it's South Africa.
Literally, yeah. Everything about it's foreign. Toes in the sand, hands are sweaty.
Yeah.
Proposing,
So I say, well, if you're not ready. She goes, oh yeah, thanks. The answer is no then.
She was just looking for that.
Oh, dude. Trap door.
Like, hopefully he picks up on this. And it's just like, give yourself to out.
Bro.
Yeah.
I was like, I'll take that ring back, I guess.
Yeah, you're like.
maybe I'll give it to somebody else.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And in that moment, like, you're so nervous. You're not thinking straight. Dude. You can't handle you can't decipher between like a yes. And then like, oh, thank God, it's a no. Like for now, you're like, oh, you hate me.
Yeah.
That's it.
So I'm like, are we still dating now?
Yeah.
Are we, I got a ticket. I'm here for a month.
Yeah.
I'm around. I'm around.
with me. Yeah. Yeah. Okay,
so we kind of have a clarifying conversation tonight. We're still dating. She's just not ready. She's going to need some time. Basically she was still in school. So I was like, and she needed some space. So there was like basically a couple weeks where I was like doing a lot of my own thing there in Cape Town.
Oh yeah.
Cape Town's great, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah.
I did a lot of exploring.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah. You got to keep yourself busy doing that. Yeah.
And then things started getting back, and like we're having fun together. We're like, oh yeah, we love each other.
Yeah.
And I knew that I'd seen enough movies, Tommy, that I know that everything resolves in the airport.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That's how it works out.
Oh, it is. Yeah. There's some climactic scene.
Right.
Maybe one of you is running.
One of you looks back. Yeah.
Yeah.
Music's playing. There's a slow run towards each other.
Yeah.
It's
funny because like airports aren't typically the most romantic place, but for some reason it's like on the inside.
Yeah.
There's romance happening on the inside.
That's right.
Yeah. It's not the outside. It's all stress on the outside.
So I kept, of course, when she was dropping me off.
Yeah.
After that month, and she had not said yes yet.
Yeah.
You're kind of like, you throw it out there, and you're like, am I waiting? Do I need to ask again?
Yeah, like yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, when do you ask again, or are you waiting for them to bring it up?
Oh, yeah. It was unclear. Yeah. So I had the ring in my pocket again.
Yeah.
And I was waiting for her to be like, I'm ready.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
And for me to be like, also me.
Yeah.
I still am.
Yeah, I was ready already. Yeah.
So, but instead, she said, your flight's going. You should probably go through security. And I was like, but I'm ready.
Yeah. And you're just waiting. You're like, there's nothing else you want to say? Like, just
absolutely.
Yeah.
She'll tell you, she knew exactly what was in my mind.
Oh, yeah.
And she was trying to scurry me off.
Yeah, she's like, you got to go.
Yeah. So I went through, I said goodbye. I think we kissed. And I went through the security with the ring in my pocket still. And I forgot it was in my pocket. Oh. So they're like, oh, yeah. And they're like, come over here, sir.
Yeah.
And they like slowly empty your pockets. I'm like, I slowly empty my pocket. And he goes, slowly open the case, sir. And I slowly opened it looks like I'm proposing to this dude. Yeah. He's like, will you marry me?
Yeah. Will you? I mean, I'm getting
somebody.
Yeah, 0 for 2 here, buddy. Like, let's go.
He looks at me and he goes, oh, I see what you're doing, bro. You're getting one of those cheap South African diamonds and going back and proposing.
He's like, it always works in the airport. Like, let's go.
Another clown.
Yeah, another one. Yeah.
So anyways, I flew home, and 7 months later, she said yes. She came back in the States.
Wow.
And
did she bring it up?
We had a conversation. I said, listen, when you're ready, let me know, and then I'll pick a time to ask you again.
Yeah.
And
so we'll start the clock again.
Yeah,
I'll surprise you.
Yeah, exactly.
It's got to be a surprise.
It was.
That's the weird thing about it. It's like you kind of have to have I guess you don't, but the like preliminary soft yes. Yeah. You're like, maybe I could see it, right? And then it's like, well,
yeah,
when are you gonna do it? And it's got to be a surprise.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
So
I just met someone. They've got the soft yes out of the way, but now she wants to write a song to propose through a song.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. And then now, is
it going to be a surprise, or is it going to say it in the first line?
I'm not sure. I didn't ask her, but she hasn't written it yet. But it's like going on months, and it's like I feel like you
can't put this off too long.
I know, and it's like you're adding a task in front of the task. Like planning the thing is enough, but now you got to compose a whole song. Yeah.
Do it
like the pressure on that song has got to be high. Like,
oh yeah, you want it to be good.
You want it to be so good, and like singing to someone in general, I assume is maybe if you do it all the time.
I like doing it.
Do you?
Yeah, do it right now if you want.
Yeah. Don't tell me. I got a guitar upstairs. Do you play guitar?
I got those bars from my.
Oh, that's right. Rap. Yeah. I never asked. Did you have a rap name? Did you get that far?
Oh, dude. I was the guy who would like make the band name before any music was around.
Yeah, you like set the framework and you're like,
I had cassette fold. I had like the cassette fold-ins with like pictures of myself.
Yeah.
but I had
You like
no
just
music.
did the photo shoot?
I had no music.
Yeah. You're like, you can make your own music. It's like just blank tape.
I don't know. I don't remember what it was, but I do think B hyphen was a part of it.
Oh, yeah. I could. Yeah. There was a lot of hyphenated names. Like,
Still, it's great. Hyphens are great.
Yeah. I feel like there's an age
B
range.
something.
Like, T anything.
Yeah.
Money.
Ice.
Or Lil B.
Yeah.
That could be. Yeah.
Lil B would have probably been more appropriate at that point.
Lil B. Yeah. B money. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. So 7 months later, she said yes.
Yeah, she said yes.
And then you surprised her again. Was she surprised the first time?
Oh, very
on the beach?
in the wrong way.
Whoa, yeah. Like I didn't know.
Shocked, you might say.
Shocked.
It's like the original shock and awe.
Yeah. On the beach.
Lots of shock, no awe.
Yeah. So then for the second round. Surprise number 2.
Surprise number 2.
Yeah. What do we
What
have
do we do?
on
What do
the
we
menu
cook up?
for that one?
What do we cook up?
Mm-hmm.
I had a small little apartment, like a 100 square foot.
Ellensburg?
Yeah, in Ellensburg.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I was a student there, and I had all these candles and stuff in there. And candles.
Oh yeah.
It was hot, bro.
Yeah.
Because I had my friends come and light the candles while we were on a walk.
Oh.
So we came back in there, and like, thank God it didn't burn down. But like it felt like 110 degrees in there. Like, because you got like 100 candles in a 100 square foot home.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And you're asking for it.
Oh, you're asking for it. And I bet too, when you open the door, it's like wafts out at you, and you're like, "What the hell is going on in here? Did you leave the stove on?"
So she knew, and then I had a letter that was to her on the table, but it was written to her South Africa address that she had. So it's kind of like a little homage.
Yeah, that's cool.
So she read the letter. While she was reading the letter, I got on a knee and I proposed.
Oh, that's cool. It's like, see,
and she said no again.
She was like, actually,
no, she said yes.
She
said yes.
Yeah. But the knee, that was important. She was like, that's
she,
probably why she said no.
If I would have just only bent the knee.
Yeah. That's all they want. That's all they need, Yeah, it really was about the knee. It wasn't too soon.
I should have. I've never thought about that.
Yeah. If we could go back in time, if we could try it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you again for washing. Thank you for watching and watching the show and listening, all of the above. I wanted to make an apology. Today's episode, there's a couple interruptions in the episode because I didn't charge the camera all the way, and I'm still working through the kinks. So thank you so much for being forgiving in this process. I kind of like the rough and tumble work through this, so I hope you enjoy it a little bit as well and aren't super annoyed. But just as a reminder, we are looking for other sponsors. You can get Bryan's book in the link below, as well as any of your other purchases. Think about it. And if you want to contribute to Patreon. So thanks again. There's one or two more interruptions. I apologize. And hopefully on the next episode, that won't be the case. So thank you for watching, and we'll get back to the episode.
That's an interesting question too. Like in your personal life, in the story you were kind of telling about meeting your wife, you talk about being like insecure and unsure and like growing up that way. And then just the process of like coming in to being a pastor and like, from the outside you exude confidence and things, and like the going through the journey from like being insecure and unsure about things to like getting to the point, like what was that like in your life, getting to the point where you felt comfortable with the idea of founding a church, or like getting in front of people to, offer a message?
Yeah. Well, I would say, it is, I think everybody that has been on a healing journey continues on a healing journey, right? So like, I don't think that, there's one point where there's a rival, right? I think that we'll continue to journey through some of the difficult things, or you could almost call them like, when you have a limb chopped off or something like that, it's like you have phantom pain, it's not there, but still there's the sensation of pain. And so sometimes I think like, and I'll get to really answering the question, but like, these things that felt like murderers chasing me, like these anxieties and stuff, they're like annoying neighbors now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's moved, it's changed.
Yeah.
Their volume has gone down quite a bit. And a lot of the way, I think I would say, a lot of the way that I experienced healing was through my relationship with God. So it's through practices of prayer and study, but then through the practice of community as well. So, and not just kind of like being in a community, though that's important, but being in a relationship with a person that functions in some ways like a counselor. So counseling is great. I've been through many seasons of counseling, but there's one particular mentor that I talk about in the 3rd chapter that, those old school like problem with connection.
Yeah. I could throw one of those in. Yeah. I've been like doing little funny things on different episodes. Yeah. Like last one, I pretended to like bleep out something, which was fun. Yeah. And then I also want to do like, I bought stuff to do like destination podcasts. So my plan is to like take someone hiking and then we'll like do it in the woods.
I love it.
And then
the podcast.
Yeah. And then we had another idea where I'm going to do the Seattle-Portland bike ride. Yeah. And then I try to interview people while we're riding.
Amazing. So, hey, you, why are you doing this?
Where are you coming from? Yeah. Just have a good time with it.
I love it.
Yeah. So you were talking about your healing journey.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sense of insecurity.
Yeah.
Through faith and practice and.
Yeah. So that's right. Because we talk about how do you recover? How does healing happen? And I've got my story and I've got kind of, but for me, my relationship with God, prayer practices, scripture reading, community, but then this mentor that was such an important part of that. And it's so fascinating. His name was Don. He was a church history professor. He was somebody that when I went to work on my master's, he was a professor that I had. And I just reached out to him on Facebook. Like it was like suggested friends, like, and see, and then, it was like one of those, it was probably 2011 where you're like,
does he say yes?
Yeah. And he said yes. Yeah. He knew I was a pastor.
Yes the first time.
Yeah. He asked, hey, how's it going?
Yeah.
And it began this conversation and that became a relationship. And I remember many times he would drive out of his way to kind of, we work in a stop in Ellensburg when we were living there. And, it was just simple stuff. Like the healing happens through the simple practices of one person showing interest and kindness towards another, right? So he would listen. And I remember when he'd always pray for me when we finished our time together, when we were saying goodbye. And he would pray and he would just he would say, God, I'm so thankful for my awesome, awesome friend, Bryan. And I knew, I was like, I have the evidence, I have the receipts that I'm not awesome. Yeah. But somehow I'm convinced, this guy's convinced that I'm awesome. Yeah. And he tricked me into believing it, and not in a self-aggrandizing type of way. Yeah. But and it's like, no, the Bible says that we are fearfully and wonderfully made, like in the sense of that God takes delight in us and I just found myself, through keeping company with him and through these kind of times of him listening to me, asking questions. I was always interested in the academic stuff and what he was doing in what his next book was about, but he just was so not interested in talking about that. He was just very interested in me and talking about me and praying for his awesome, awesome friend. Yeah. And I can point to that relationship as bringing in just such, and I would say, God using him to bring in so much healing in my life.
I find too, it's so amazing, the way our minds work and how much self-doubt is playing all the time. And if you're only listening to that record, then it feeds itself. Yeah. And then there's some amount of reconciliation that has to happen when you come to someone or you listen to something that tells you differently. Yeah. So I can relate to that too when someone's in the beginning of when someone gives you a compliment, you're like, how do I even receive this? Yeah. Because it doesn't connect. It doesn't make sense with some of this.
There's a thinker named Kurt Thompson who I was at a workshop with him one time, and he's a psychiatrist, does a lot of work with the brain, and he says when he gets a compliment, he looks the person in the eye, and he says, "Will you say that again?" Because we have developed this kind of like Gore-Tex for compliments.
Yeah.
And so he grabs a hold of him, and he says, "Can you say that again?"
Yeah.
And the people are always like freaked out. They're like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah, like Jesus Christ, like yeah.
But I think that that is a picture of how resistant we are.
Oh yeah, yeah. Because I can tell too. Like, I mean, eye connection is so interesting because I like working in the cafe. I talk to so many people every day, and like the amount of people that make eye contact or don't make eye contact at all, and usually it's like this little bit of in between where you're like you're dancing and you're like looking a little bit and holding like as much until you have to look away.
Yeah.
So to like have the intention, like I'm sure it feels so profound to be like genuine compliment connected.
Yeah.
Like
to be beheld, right?
Yeah.
And so there's so much, you know, in the Christian tradition, and I'm sure others as well, that to speak about this, you know, that the urge and the need to be seen. But anyways, that has been part of my healing journey. More to be said about that, of course, but the course of it.
Yeah. And then like coming into like that, you know, of course, like helps you get to where you are. But now that you're, you know, in the role as a pastor of a church, so many people looking to you. And it struck me when we made the comment about the cord coming unconnected and like running out of juice. Like, you know, from what I would imagine, like being the pastor of a church, being so involved in the planting of the church, that it would be such a like workload on, you know, on top of family life and kids with an aspiring rapper.
Trying to get his rap career going.
Yeah, exactly. You got to nurture that, make that a priority. And, you know, what's that like behind the scenes? Like, do you get overwhelmed or do you have like days where you just like can't get out of bed? Like, you know, I have the luxury of like, I don't have any kids relying on me. So like I can stay in bed all day if I feel like it, you know?
Yeah, I think it's a good question. So I have friends that, you know, were church planners that like blew their adrenal glands. And so they've had the experience of not being able to get out of bed and or find themselves driving for some city that they don't even know why they're driving there, you know, and they're just because you've pushed your body to a place where in your mind and where it needs to heal, you know. And I think that's why like the scriptural tradition of Sabbath, you know, is particularly interesting and important for so many people right now. Should be important for everyone, because it's this idea of like, no, the word in Hebrew means cease, to stop.
Yeah.
You know, like, and God has built in this rhythm where like ceasing is necessary. And when we cease, we not only heal our bodies, but we confess with our practice that life is not ultimately dependent on me, that it goes on with God, you know, and with others. And so it's such a rich practice. In fact, it kind of is a funny bridge here, because when we first moved here, Candace says we can plant a church if, you know, my wife is she's introverted. I'm not. We're different, you know. So our needs, kind of relationally, are different. And she goes, we can plant a church if we have a regular date night. We have a regular family night, and you for once take a Sabbath. Right. And what I heard was we can plant a church.
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
you know? And so, like with that tension between us was so tough, in the early years of church planting that it almost broke apart a marriage. And also, like I was running, like all those insecurities that I had healed from in an uncertain context, they came back up. Right. Because, I started relying on my old patterns of trying to like, I'm going to please everyone. Yeah. You know, I'm going to overwork until everybody likes me. You know, I'm going to keep tap dancing. And it just is not sustainable. Like if you're not living out of, for the Christian, you know, you're not living out of your true identity of who you are in Christ. You're trying to create and manufacture an identity, and the manufactured identity always is malformed, and it always breaks. Right? Yeah. So, and so there was one point early on in that stage where, like Candace, like I could tell, like she never said the word separation or I'm leaving, but like, well, she did kind of allude to it, but like I remember I went full fetal position, like in our closet, just weeping, and just because I was just feeling the weight of all of this. Yeah. One, I felt like I had to please everyone. Yeah. And then two, my wife was completely not pleased. And there's this tension there, right? Where it's like if I slow down, then everybody's going to feel like I'm failing them. Yeah. But if I don't slow down, my wife might leave me. Yeah. And of course, and so I talk about that in the book. And I remember one time, like in our early staff, like we had 2 people on our team at this point. We were very young. I don't think we'd even launched Anchor. And we were in this time at the end of a staff meeting where you share your prayer requests. It's usually like, like my cat is like throwing up or something. I like pray for the cat. And but I just barfed up. I'm like, I don't like my life. And I just started bawling right there. Like in the time where you say like, pray for my cat, I'm like bawling, And so my friend Pete, who I've known for 20 years, he put his arm around me and he just started declaring over and over again, God loves your life. God loves your life. God loves your life. God loves your life. And for me, like, I still feel it right now. Like that is one of like, obviously there were more points along the way, but that was a turning point where I'm like, if God loves my life, like I feel like that was what I needed to hear, then like I can listen to him for the pace I need to go. Yeah. And if he's being God, he's unrivaled. I can let him, if he loves my life, I'm going to let that be the reality that I live in. And I'm not going to stop running from a lion that doesn't really exist. So, right now I carry that truth around with me. Yeah. And I try to rest in my identity in Christ and live according to what God says about me, not like this kind of fear and insecurity, superiority scripts. Yeah, absolutely. And, a little bit like maybe similar in a way is like when I get stuck in a place where I'm like thinking about stuff too much and not trusting the process and just going through the motions and being a part of it. It's like those are the worst times when I have that like one way or the other like pulling me in different directions. But if I just like trust in the process and follow the path that's put in front of me and trust that it's like going the way that it's supposed to, it's like there's so much rest in that. Like I feel it's funny because sometimes when I joke about like laying in bed all day, it's like, but sometimes when I do like feel like I take the downtime is almost when I feel the worst sometimes because it's like you're almost giving into it.
Yeah, like I get into that mindset and it's just like fuel for like indecision and like doubt. Yeah. Versus if I take like kind of like spacious and easy, relaxed action, like from a totally different place, it feels more rejuvenating. Yeah. I love that you mentioned the Sabbath, and because like I feel like my journey has been kind of like stumbling through, asking questions, trying to, scheduling your life when you're trying to do things. Yeah. Like there's all these reasons why things come up, and like I found too, like having Sunday be a reset day where I have a hard, like I just recently like set a hard line that I have to be home from whatever I was doing that weekend by noon on Sunday in order to like take care of life and reset and like kind of get back. And it's like, it just makes the rest of the week seem so much better, and it doesn't feel like this blur that's just happening.
There's a beautiful piece too in the Judeo-Christian tradition of we don't work for rest. Mm-hmm. It's not like we're going to work so hard to get a vacation, but we work from rest. Yeah. So Sabbath is not the end of the week, but it's the beginning of the week.
Oh, I love that.
And we live from this place of like, I am living from rest. I'm not grasping after a vacation. Yeah. And I think this harmonizes with the Judeo-Christian, with the scriptures, with the Hebrew Bible and the New Testament, because in those scriptures we discover a God that pre-loves his creation. Yeah. So the creation doesn't reach for love, trying to accomplish and get and acquire love.
Sabbath pre-love.
Pre-love. It's my rap name.
Pre-love, be love, pre-love.
No, like the idea of like from the Christian tradition.
Oh.
You're not reaching for love.
Yeah.
It's not something you have to kind of like get or accomplish or prove yourself to be, but it's but you're living from it.
Yeah.
And so it just kind of, it flips how you see the world, how you see yourself. And like when you live into it, like what's one thing to know, but when you live into it, it helps you live from a place of peace, right? Because you're not the thing that most people live their lives trying to grab a hold of. You're grabbed a hold of.
You got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got it already. We're kind of coming to the end here, running out a little bit. I know, very sad. We could do this again, though.
We need to.
We should, and it'll be fun to, this is one of the first episodes, so then to see how this, have you come back later.
See how I've changed.
See how you've changed.
See how it's
Maybe
changed.
you'll have another book.
Could be.
Yeah.
The video could last the whole time.
It could, yeah. We could just keep it going the whole time. And just before you go, with all this going on, finding the time to write a book, how did you work that in?
Yeah.
How long did it take? What was it like writing a book? I feel like, I've had, thoughts of writing a book at some point, but it's like to set aside the time and work on it.
So I had 2 chapters written for a number of years, and I knew that there was something in their story that was worth passing on. Yeah. Because in the church planting space, there's just not a lot of there's a lot of guides and manuals, but not a lot of people offering a hand of friendship.
Oh yeah.
And that's kind of what this is for people that are finding themselves in uncertainty. It's a hand of friendship of walk with me, let's learn, let me share my life with you, that kind of thing. So I knew there was something in there. So I had 2 chapters were sitting there for a couple of years, and but there was a conversation with a coach that he was like, "What's the project you want to do?" And I mentioned this writing project. So basically through this conversation with this coach, I start setting aside 2 hours every morning, 5 to 7, and I'm writing. And that means I'm, other things like I'm going to bed earlier, I'm, whatever. So I'm writing every morning for 2 hours, and it was through a process of a couple of years working on that, hammering it out, and then having conversations with publishers that just arrived. It arrived as a finished product.
Yeah. Event just every day, chipping away at it. And it's it's interesting too, because if you start a project like that, at the beginning, you're there's all these things you got to do, writing it, editing it, getting the publisher, getting it out there, designing the cover. But then then you're how do I do that? We think of things in these steps, but it's if you just plan to show up every day,
that's right. That's
and then it's you just do the thing that's right in front of you.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I've kind of found over time of doing things is just setting the time to show up. It's I don't know what's going to happen that day. Maybe I finish it, maybe it's not the day, but my intention is to breathe life into this thing.
That's good.
Which is really cool.
Yeah, the artists typically aren't on deadlines.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's the assembly line that has deadlines, but the artist pays attention to the craft, and it's the craft that has to be perfected.
Absolutely. And then I can't wait to finish the rest of the book. It's been really good so far, and I really do get that impression of it's not a step-by-step guide where I feel you lose some of the heart and lose some of the connection in that, and there's probably a million of those out there, but it's this was my experience and this is how I relate, and it really from the bit that I've read so far, it really comes through.
Awesome.
And it's it's shaping up to be a beautiful story.
Yeah.
Do you have any? Do you want to write another one?
Yeah. Writing is, whether I'm good or not, people can make a decision, but it is something that I find joy in doing.
Yeah.
It's, think about if you translate to other careers, whether I'm good at building houses or not, I'm just gonna keep building houses.
I'm just gonna keep building them. Yeah, an accountant, it's I don't know.
I might be cooking the books, but I just can't get enough of these numbers.
I just love it. I love tallying up using calculators. Yeah.
So
the best ones. Yeah. So you gotta keep doing it.
I love building skyscrapers. I
love it.
But so I will. I've got some ideas I'm thinking about, but it's they're kind of gestating.
Totally. I mean, this one just came out.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, if anyone wants to get the book,
I'll have a link to it in the show notes as well. Terrible Beauty. Bryan Halferty.
That's right.
Do people get your name?
Halferty.
Halferty?
Yeah.
I think the first time I saw it, I said Halferty.
Yeah, you have.
Did you ever get Halferty?
I have never heard of Halferty.
Halferty.
Yeah.
Think about it.
I kind of like that one.
I like it.
Yeah.
It's got a ring to it.
Maybe that's what it's supposed to
Bryan
be.
Halferty. Yeah. I wonder about that for my last name too. It's like, how did it start? It's like playing telephone like over generations.
Yeah.
So like, yeah.
Tag.
Yeah, that's right. Apparently.
Tagu.
That's the one I get the most. And Teague, people just add an E in there.
Yeah.
All the time. Apparently, it used to be McTag, but when they immigrated to the United States, there was a split. The McTag went one way, and the Tags went the other. And so I don't know which one we are, but rebellious ones maybe. I don't know. Bryan, thank you so much. Yeah, this has been really, really awesome to have you on here.
Enjoy, man, and looking forward to next time.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. You know, I just tell you one last story. Is you know Emma? Yeah. So I've been to church a couple times with Emma, a really good friend of mine, and she, I don't know. It's funny saying this. I'm like, do people care to know, or like want you to say like she got baptized not that long ago?
Yeah.
And I really tried to get her to tell you that I said hi when she was
right when you
right
in
when
the name of the Father, Son, and the Spirit. Wait a second.
Tommy
says
that would have like made my life.
I wish you would have.
I know.
Major ball drop there, Emma.
Yeah. Next, if she needs another one, maybe she get on round 2, you know. You can always do it again later, so.
Yeah, I mean, there might be theological questions there, but there's we'll keep that open.
Yeah, we'll keep it open. Think about it, yeah. Cool.
It's been rich, man.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like my years of being a barista, I'm like, I got chit-chat.
Oh,
like,
you could chat the shit out of people.
I could chat the shit out of some people, you know what I mean? So I feel like taking it into the podcast realm is like a good kind of transition. It's like